Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. We are getting a late start. It's already 6 o'clock at night, but we really haven't been doing very exciting, I guess, stuff today. So it's kind of hard to film when it's just not exciting, because you guys aren't going to find it exciting either, because we don't. But I am wobbling this camera all over the place, but I am trying something new for dinner. Never done before, don't know how it's going to work out, and I figured I might as well take you guys along for the ride. So we have the stuff. We got just some round steak. It's just what it is. What it is. Get what you can. We're going to do peppers, onions, round steak. There's going to be onions, chives, and cilantro. And I'm going to dice it all up, chop it up. We're going to cook it, and then we're going to put some noodles with it, and we're going to do probably a little bit of olive oil and some
Olive Garden
Italian seasoning Italian dressing from Olive Garden. And hopefully it'll taste good. So we're going to dive into it. I got my butcher set, which has already been used once. We used it when we butchered chickens. It's probably been about a month now.
Something like that.
It's probably been about a month. We butchered 2 chickens ourselves to learn how to do it. A friend of ours came over. Actually, Dean, the same guy that's been helping with the house, he came over, showed us how to butcher chickens. And I think this next coming year, we're going to kind of collab with a friend and maybe do some chickens at her place. And then at the end of it, we're going to butcher them and show them how to butcher them as well, because they have not done it. So maybe
let us know in the comments if you want to see any of that.
I don't know if we can show any of it, but if you guys are actually interested in seeing the chicken process, we could actually probably go over there and do a little bit about raising chickens and stuff, because they do have layers, and maybe we can convince them to let us put a little bit of layers over there for ourselves as well. And again, I don't know with YouTube if we're going to actually be able to show the process, but we might be able to show some of the stuff like raising the chickens actually into meat chickens, and maybe layers if they'll let us do some laying chickens over there as well. But let us know in the comments if you guys are interested in that. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead, dive into these knives, and start chopping some of this stuff up. To start off, we got the ground steaks. We're just going to cut nice, even strips. They don't have to be perfect, but we're going to do it as close as we can.
Oh, the thing like Troy has?
That's all we're doing is those strips. So if you're going to cut meat like this, where it's not frozen or kind of stiffened up, like it, make it cut a little easier, then what you need is a really sharp knife. And luckily, I usually keep all my knives super sharp. But I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting up the steak, and then we'll get back to you. Alright guys, so the steak's all cut up. You guys can see, hopefully, lighting. Nice, they're pretty uniformed pieces, and we're just going to cook them up in this cast iron skillet. We're going to cook them up in this cast iron skillet with a little bit of butter. Nothing crazy, nothing outrageous. And then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to sharpen up my knife again, and I'm going to start cutting some onions and some peppers up. And I think everything else is going to go in a separate pan by itself. We might try to cook all of it in one pan, I don't know. But we'll kind of walk you guys through as we decide and we figure out our life. But in the meantime, we're going to wipe everything down, just kind of clean it up, because we were cutting raw meat. And we're going to clean everything up, wipe it down, and then like I said, I'm going to get going on onions and peppers. Alright guys, so we've moved on to the onions. I've already started chopping because I suck at YouTube. But all I did was I peeled it. I cut both ends off, which is typical. You already kind of do that, you know that. But then I halved the onion out, which I'm not exactly sure how well it is focusing, but I halved it and then I just sliced it into long, thin pieces. And that's how we're going to cook it. But that's all I'm doing is long thin strands. Nothing major. Chop it in half. And we're just thin slices. This is again really easy, really nice to do if you have a really sharp fillet knife. I found I like fillet knives just in general for chopping stuff, as long as I'm not going through anything big or major.
I'm just gonna put a little bit of butter into this pan and put the heat on low and start kind of cooking up the steak. I'd rather cook it on low so it hopefully cooks a little bit slower. Oh, unless you have an objection. Martin, I get his idea. Lay down, go lay down.
And there's all of our onions chopped up. It's all thin, nice long thin strands, which I think is going to go perfect with what we're doing. Again, we've never done it. I don't have a clue really what I'm doing. I'm just making it up as we go.
He's the good one at that.
And she's already got the steak going with just a little bit of butter. We're going to try to cook it on a low heat so it kind of tenderizes a little bit better. Especially with it being just a round steak where it's not really that great of a cut.
Come on.
What are you doing?
I don't know if you guys have been experiencing it where you go to the stores and they just don't really have a large selection, and the selection they do have is not the best quality. They want $20 for a ribeye that's mostly fat. I just can't really bring myself to spend that on fat.
So all I'm doing is just separating it, nothing major, just trying to make sure that the bulk of them are broken up. And then we're going to throw this off to the side in another pot so I can have my cutting board back. And I can do some peppers. Alright guys, so I got the cutting board cleaned off. Onions are in the other pot. All we're going to do is chop up, these are Mighty Minis. Just sweet peppers, little bell peppers. And we always end up trying to get the multicolor, so we have yellow, orange, red, just because we like a little color into our food. So there's yellow, there's a red one, there's some oranges. But like I said, we like having color. They're all taste the same, but we just like having the color.
I think it brings a little bit different of a flavor with the different colors. Reds always seem to be a little bit stronger in my opinion.
Do we want to save the seeds?
We could.
So what we've been doing usually has been saving the seeds out of these, and we're dehydrating them. Well, we're kind of letting them dry out on their own, and then we're storing them away with our seeds so we can actually plant them later. So all we're going to do is cut off the top. I'm going to try to get the seeds out. I'm going to let Krystal work on that. But now that I got the top cut off, I got the seeds yanked out on the inside. I'm just going to chop it straight down the middle. And then I'm literally going to just take it. Usually it works better if I lay it with the outside down. And then just cut strips about the same size as my onions were.
I personally like these peppers better than the regular bell peppers just because there's a lot less seed, a lot less membrane. You just seem to get more pepper out of it. And they're just easier to clean. And they always seem to be on sale, so you can usually get a pretty decent price for all the different colors. What? Yes, I know. OB.
So, just cutting nice little strips, about the same size. This one's a little bit bigger, but it's about the same size as I did the onions. That way they all hopefully cook around the same size. We're just going to do the same thing with every pepper. We're just going to chop off top, slide that over. But we've been saving these seeds up because you can let them dry out, and then when spring comes, we actually have an abundance now of seeds that we can plant. So to save you guys the boring task of me cutting all these peppers up, I'm just going to finish these up. You guys already seen how I'm doing it, and then we'll give it right back to you. Alright guys, so we just got 4 cloves of garlic. We're just going to standard stuff, just chop it up. And now we got slices. I'm just going to kind of come through and kind of just drag along. Like I usually like butcher knife for chopping like this, but maybe this will work. It's not like I'm going to beat the hell out of this thing, but that worked pretty good. That one piece. I think enough.
That's about what it is when you buy it minced. There's a couple bigger things, but...
So that's all we did was minced up the garlic a little bit. Not a traditional way I would normally mince it up, but it worked. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss this in with the peppers and the onions, and then I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so we're gonna move on to our final stuff, which is gonna be cilantro and chives. So we got our cilantro over here, and this is going to be the first time I ever use kitchen shears.
Well, I hope there's enough olive oil, it should be.
So I'm just going to chop it up. Nothing major, it's like pretty much using scissors. Just chop.
Pull it out. One's favorite treat.
Now I'm not being crazy particular on this, but I am trying to cut off what stems I can, but if stems get mixed up into it, not a big deal. I could probably cut these a little smaller, but at the same time I'm not being picky on how big or small I'm cutting these chunks into. I got a feeling if I try to cut them too small, it's just going to take more time. It's not really going to be worth the hassle. Especially when you can just do this. Put it in a pile and chop, 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 chop. Alright guys, so I got the cilantro chopped up. I'm going to try to scoot it off over here. Again, there's some smaller stuff. I could have chopped it up a little bit smaller if I wanted to. Honestly, you can get in here and just kind of break it up too with your fingers. But it's good enough for what I want. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chop up a little bit of chive. So we got some organic chives.
Hopefully soon we won't have all this stuff coming from the stores and we'll be growing it ourselves.
So we're just going to do this kind of same theory. And we are trying to grow a lot of this stuff ourselves. So as you may have heard, I don't know how much it picked up with her being so far away, but hopefully we are going to be doing this out of the garden pretty shortly here. It'd be really nice to be able to just go kind of pick our own and chop it up as needed.
Smells good.
It's not a crazy amount, but I think that's going to be good enough for the chives. So you guys can see a nice little pile of cilantro and then a nice little pile of chives here. I'm going to go ahead and toss, at the very least, I'm tossing the chives in with the peppers and the onions. But I might also just go ahead and toss cilantro in as well. Alright guys, so we have everything chopped up and into the pans except for the noodles. We don't have the noodles in the pan yet. But I'm going to turn you guys around and show you guys where we're at. Krystal's been in the background while I've been chopping up. And she's been starting the stuff in the pots and kind of keeping it on a slow simmer. Especially the steak, we wanted to get it going, but we wanted to keep it at a low temp, so hopefully it's not so tough and so hard. We do got butter in there, so it's not completely healthy, but at the same time, it's just a little bit of butter. But there's where the steaks are at. You guys can see it's coming along nicely. They look pretty good. And then move over to the veggies. You guys can see that wonderful color. You guys got some reds, some yellows. You got the white from the orange. You got cilantro and chives. You guys can kind of see why, if there wasn't a shadow, you guys can kind of see why we like cooking with color. It adds a lot to the plate once it's on there. So that's where we're at right now. Once we get all this cooked up and stuff, we'll get back to you and we'll show you the plate. Alright guys, so real quick before I shut you guys off until we get the final product done, I'm going to dive into the wonderful world of seasonings that we have here. So we do have stuff that we kind of make ourselves, so we do have store-bought stuff as well. We don't have that anymore. Alright, so just a little bit of pepper and a little bit of pink salt, pink salt. Whatever.
Himalayan pink salt.
I'm just going to put this a little bit in here with the vegetables just to add a little flavor to it. Pepper takes forever because there's not much left, so there's not any kind of weight kind of pulling it down into the grinder. So if you guys have grinders like this at home, when you guys start getting to the end where we have just a little bit left of the kernels, that's why it takes forever to grind it up, because it doesn't have that weight.
And of course, these store-bought ones you can't just open up and put new ones in; they won't close back up.
But I'm going to do a little bit of pink salt. I think that's all I'm really going to do. Maybe add a little more pepper off camera because it's going to take a minute, but I think that's all I'm going to end up doing is just kind of letting it cook the way it is. And with the garlic, the peppers, the onions, all that stuff kind of, and they're mixing together and jiving, it's going to really, hopefully, produce a really good flavor and ultimately a really good plate. Alright guys, so one more thing I forgot completely about the noodles. So Krystal just dumped them. They are going to town now cooking. But they were what kind of noodles? Amish
egg noodles. So more of a homemade, home-style noodle, I guess you could say.
So they're a flat noodle. They remind me like Chinese food noodles. But we have those going. We got the steak.
Starting to suck in the moisture.
So that's looking pretty good. Noodles are just dumped them, so they gotta go back up to a boil. And then come around. And those veggies are looking amazing. So we're gonna keep cooking. We're gonna let this keep going, and then once we get to the point where we're gonna make the final product, kind of put it on a plate and present it, we will come back and show it off to you guys and do a taste test.
We're just gonna add a little bit of olive oil, like you were saying, into the noodles. Olive oil, surprisingly, in noodles adds a lot of flavor. Don't need a whole bunch of it, but it definitely adds a lot of flavor when you add the olive oil. It also helps keep the noodles from sticking. You see the nice shine to the noodles, though, so you can definitely tell that there's oil in there. I think that's enough.
So everything's done, noodles are done, the steak's done. And then
vegetables look amazing.
The vegetables, minus the shadow, but vegetables are done. They look good. So I guess we just gotta get it all on a plate and show you guys the final thing and try it out. Alright guys, so we have the finished product all done up on the plate. I tried to make it look as pretty as I could. And here's what we got. That looks amazing. So you got your peppers, your onions, your garlic, your cilantro, your chives, your steak, and your noodles with a little bit of olive oil. So we're gonna go ahead and dive in and try tasting it.
Trying to get a little bit of everything here. Good flavor. This is without Italian dressing over it. That would add a different flavor too, but this has good flavor without it. I can definitely taste like the garlic, cilantro and the chives in there. It's got good flavor.
This is definitely good. I think I might add a little Italian dressing on it just to try it and see what it does. But this is pretty good.
I'd eat it again.
So, Olive Garden, Italian dressing, just a little something I added. That's actually really good too. That's actually really good too. So you could have it either way. Olive oil, besides a little bit of butter in the steak, you guys, it's going to be really healthy. It's olive oil, a little bit of noodles, you got some steak and some vegetables. It's going to be a really healthy option.
Throw a little more on it.
You could also throw a little bit of the Olive Garden dressing on it, and it changes the flavor, and it's also really, really good.
Health-wise, it's probably healthier without the Olive Garden, but it doesn't add that much when you're only putting a little bit over it.
You want to try a little bit with the Olive Garden? You might want to put some on it. But that was the little dollop where I ate from, so you might want to put more dressing.
Okay. I feel like I'm stealing half his food, but he can get more.
Come on. Today.
I was trying not to pour a huge amount. That adds a little bit more tang to it. It's good.
Alright guys, so it's a quick little video. Just trying to shoot something for you guys, get a video out there. And you know, you guys hanging out cooking with Mike, which doesn't happen very often on the channel. Usually it's Krystal, and it's usually canning stuff. So you guys got a little bit of a sneak peek into the actual cooking and dinner and what happens when Mike has a little free time and comes up with stuff. It is, I was a little nervous about it. Something we haven't done, like I said, we've never done anything like this, so I was a little bit nervous about doing it. But when you're nervous about doing it, that's when you come up with some really good stuff, because you're going outside of your comfort zone and you're going outside the box and you're thinking about other things, and it's always fun to color outside the lines a little bit. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Something simple, something fairly easy to do. You guys could do it at home tonight if you guys wanted to, and I'm telling you guys, it's pretty good. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for coming, hanging out with us while we make dinner. And you got anything?
Stay positive. Treat everyone kind. You don't know what anyone's going through. Love you.
I still don't have anything, so be positive. Keep you guys' heads in the right spot, because it is so easy to get down on yourselves, especially nowadays with everything going on. So make sure you guys are keeping your heads in a positive place and staying upbeat. Make sure you guys are loving your friends and family and your neighbors, because everybody needs a little love. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.